Data today, John. Let's start with jobless claims. That's everybody's focus these days, even though I will explain in a moment, the numbers aren't necessarily accurate. Initial claims come in at 898,000. That's a significant increase from last week, 840,000. It's way above the 825,000 that we had, that the consensus survey said we would get. It's an increase of 53,000 on a seasonally adjusted basis. A non-seasonally adjusted, we go up to 885. That's an increase of 77,000. And you look at the pandemic unemployment insurance, that one dropped to 372. It's down by 91,000. So this is all basically new unemployment insurance claims. Total number of claims out there right now, 25,290, down 215,000 as people start to drop off the rolls because they've used up their unemployment compensation after 26 weeks. Other numbers out this morning. Empire Manufacturing, this is starting to tell us the same story maybe as claims, that we do see a slowing in the economy for the most recent month. This is an October number, comes out at 10.5. Last month in September, it was 17. We also got the Philly Fed today. Philly Fed goes the other direction, a significant increase there, 32.3 for the headline number. That was 15 last month. So make of it what you will. The employment index for the Philly Fed drops to 12.7, but the employment index for the Empire Manufacturing rises a little bit. So make of those regional indicators what you will. And then let's just quickly note that import prices rose 0.3%, which is bang on the consensus estimate, but 0.9% last month. So we saw import prices slow somewhat. We've seen the dollar gyrating around, and it is probably related to that.
But, Mike, really the focus is on jobs. You said everyone's looking at jobs, and that really is the standout here. Much worse than expected in terms of the labor market picture. And the revisions also coming in weaker than expected. In other words, revising downward, giving more people on the unemployment rolls over time. The one bright spot is that continuing claims ticked a little bit below where people were expecting. Can you talk a little bit about how reliable this data is, about the potential distortions, and what we can hang on to in these numbers?
Yeah, the big distortion is in California, because California a couple of weeks ago shut down its claims processing in order to try to weed out fraud and try to get through a big backlog. They were shut down for 2 weeks. They've come back online, but the Labor Department says their numbers are still out of whack. And so for the next 2 or 3 weeks, they're using the same numbers that they've used for the past 4 weeks now, which is 226,179 jobless claims. That's about a quarter of all the jobless claims, and that suggests that maybe it is a little bit off there. So we really don't know what the total number of claims is. However, the change in direction is something that has got to be somewhat worrisome. And then we're keeping an eye on the idea of 26 weeks is how long you get in most states for unemployment benefits. People are running out of those. They're starting to move to the extended benefits that were put into the CARES package. And so we should see continuing claims continue to fall, but extended benefits rise, and they did this last week.
Michael McKee, one final question to you. I look at export price index. Folks, I don't look at import price, export price. That's like a McKee thing until it matters. And right now it really matters. We have a disinflation in our export price index. What does that signal, Michael McKee?
Well, the export price index up 0.6 better than it was, and so on a year-over-year basis, you're negative 1.8. That's also rising, but it's basically a function of the fact that there isn't a lot of demand for U.S. exports yet as the global economy recovers. Import and export prices are a small part of the overall inflation picture for the United States, but it does give you an idea of sort of where we're seeing currency alignments at this point.